as promised, I got y'all with that late night poll.
As we're nearing the end of Big Brother 27 with our final 6 going into week 10, I decided to go ahead and try to break down to the best of my ability which of these house guests I believe is going to walk away with that $750,000. We're going to rank their likelihood of winning from lowest to highest. Like anything I got to say in this video, you already know what y'all got to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all them things right now. Let's get into these rankings. Coming in at 6th place, we got Ashley. If you've been watching the season, it really shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that Ashley is on the bottom of this list. If you have her higher, or if you even have her winning the $750,000, I would think you crazy for the latter. But it is what it is. Everyone's pick is going to be different. Me personally, I just feel like Ashley has not done enough in the game. Definitely did not forget she won the very first veto of the season, but after that, she has not done anything other than cling to Rachel and this judges alliance that is slowly but surely falling apart by the episode. She's had a good positioning in the house, but I'm not so sure how much of that I can attest to her versus who she is aligned with. Going multiple weeks without touching the block is a feat. Ask Rachel. She got sent out the house without touching the block one time this season. But that and a singular veto can only take you so far. For Ashley to win this season somehow, I'm going to just see her game step up significantly. I'm talking a couple charges under her belt, at least in HOH. It got to be at this point if she really want a chance at winning. Her and Kelly are the only house guests left who have not won an HOH. But Kelly makes up for that in challenges where Ashley does not. Now, she did have a great conversation with Keanu in that last episode, and I give her credit for that. Overall, her social game this season, to me personally, has been mid. I really can't see anybody sitting next to Ashley in them final 2 chairs and not walking away with the money, especially with the level of pettiness we might see out of this year's jury. Rachel already set the tone. They're going to want to see that you won stuff and left your mark in this season, and Ashley has done neither so far. I'm sorry, I'm just telling the truth. In 5th place, I had a hard time choosing between Ava and Kelly, but I gotta give this spot to Ava. Ava's someone who I view as having a pretty good social game in this house. She's always seemed to be aligned with the right people from the very beginning of the game. Even now in the Big Brother house, she's positioned very well to the point where she could probably make a final 4, maybe even a final 3 if she plays her cards right. And she's very likable. The only thing about Ava though is that she just has not won that much on the season just yet. HOH is nothing to sneeze at, and she did win that White Locust competition. But in her HOH week, she kind of went along with what Rachel suggested her to do, not playing her own game and not putting up Ashley like she initially wanted to, and getting out somebody she said had no worries of leaving the house. The White Locust win is more clutch than I was about to give her credit for though. She did completely avoid that maze challenge that got Rachel Riley sent about the game. I don't know, I don't really see that win moving too many people in the jury house personally. Like, it's a good win, but it's not compounded by other wins. If you're someone like Kelly or Keanu and you added that White Locust win to your resume, it's like, damn, they already got wins on their resume on top of the White Locust win. That's something you could really brag about at that point, feel me? As opposed to a HOH that you did win. That was kind of sold to you, if we being honest. Will and Keanu both sold in that HOH competition. But in HOH, nonetheless, that you played for other people. I don't know, in my eyes, it just don't hold the same weight, which is why I have Ava at 6th and Kelly at 5th. I know I was saying different numbers throughout. I got final 6 and final 7 confused. Forgive me, I'm only human. I'll fix it in the edit. Now, Kelly's someone who from the very first day in the Big Brother house has had a terrible social game. I'm talking about in the same conversation that her and Vinny set up this fake ass final 2, she's offering to put herself up on the block to prove her allegiance to this man. From then on, the story writes itself. Kelly had to fight her way off the block for 4 weeks straight, winning challenges to get herself off the block too. I think she's won about 3 Big Brother blockbuster competitions this season. She also secured and won a mysterious veto this season too, so we gotta give her credit for that. I wouldn't say she's the most liked in the house though by probably majority of the jury. I do think she has a better case than Ava, but would she win the money over Ava? I would probably give it to Kelly just slightly, just off of that likability. But I would say Kelly deserves the money over Ava just off of how she has gotten herself up off the block so many times and got it out the mud every time, taking herself up off the block through winning. Really betting on themselves for no reason. Like, who do you know in your right mind is going to go to Big Brother and offer to have themselves put up on the block 3 straight weeks? Then they're put up in a 4th week and they still find their way up off the block. I gotta respect the gameplay out of Kelly to an extent. She's crazy, but it works for her. Smack dab in the middle, I got Lauren in 4th place. Now, Lauren's first HOH week, I'm not gonna lie, that shit had me going to sleep every episode. I could not wait for her HOH reign to be over with. But I gotta respect the fact that she did win not just one HOH, but a second HOH. That I think she played a lot better than the first one, showing a lot of growth in Lauren's game. And showing that when push comes to shove, she's going to play her own game and put up who she wants on the block, regardless of the consequence. I personally respect her putting up Keanu as a renom because ultimately, if you sit next to Keanu in the final 2, you are not going to win. Kiss that shit goodbye. And I'm referring to Lauren only. I do think that there's one person who could potentially beat Keanu in a final 2 situation. But I think Lauren doing that was great for her game. Based on what I've heard going into week 10, I think she's going to be just fine. I do think Lauren's social game could be a lot better though. There was times in week 9 where she was just like, I'm just going to let the week play out how it plays out. Whatever happens, happens. To avoid conflict. Like, Lauren, we are in week 9. You just got to say with your chest who you want about the game. I know you got to worry about dream management. But I think players respect you more when you're more honest with them versus when you're trying to just brush it off and act like it doesn't faze you. It's not going to get you no jury votes either. Lauren also has a veto on the season, making her one of 3 house guests remaining of the 7 to have an HOH and a veto this season. And only one of 2 with multiple. So I think she does have a pretty good case to potentially go on and win this game. She's pretty likable too. Like I said, the only thing I don't see with Lauren is that social game and owning a lot of her decisions. I'm very curious to see what she would say in the final 2 chairs if she is fortunate enough to make it there. Coming in 3rd place, we got Morgan. Now, it wasn't until very recently that Morgan has come into winning a plethora of challenges, including in this week. No spoilers. She, without question, has a case to win this game. On top of the fact that she's had a solid social game throughout. Granted, there was that one incident where she did mention to Rachel that she sees her as a very valid jury vote. Now that Rachel's reached the jury, I'm definitely curious to see who she would vote for if Morgan was in the final 2 chairs sitting next to, say, a Keanu. Yeah, Keanu's probably getting that vote. But other than that incident, I think Morgan has done some pretty good jury management overall. I think Morgan has a case to beat anybody beneath her except maybe Lauren. But again, Morgan's getting some wins on her belt too. We still have a couple more days left in the house. Let Morgan win 1 HOH on top of the veto she's collected, and I think her case to win over Lauren is solidified at that point with that social game she got. She's had great alliances throughout. She stayed loyal to these alliances. And with the judges all making the jury, I think she has a good chance of winning the game. And now we are here with our final 2 house guests. Keanu Soto versus Vince Pinero, who is walking out of here with $750,000. Because of the final 2 house guests, I want to treat it as if they were both sitting in them final 2 chairs. Because if it wasn't obvious, I think these 2 are most deserving of getting to the final 2. You got Vince, who has literally weaseled his way to this final 7. He slimed a lot of people on both sides of the house to get here, but he's also been aligned with the right side of the house on any given week in order to ensure his safety. He's won challenges, multiple HOHs, multiple vetoes, a blockbuster competition. The only flaw I got with Vinny's game is sometimes he plays it scared. And every HOH he's won so far, he's been worried about how people are going to feel about him after he puts them up on the block. Like, they're not supposed to be upset that he put them on the block. Unless your name's Kelly. I get it, jury management and XYZ, but brother, you got to own the decisions you make. And I feel like Vince does a terrible job of doing that. Versus Keanu, who from the very beginning of this game, I'm talking week 1, back when Jimmy was still in the house, this man Keanu has had the biggest target on his back this whole season and has survived time and time and time and time and time again through winning an HOH, multiple vetoes, multiple blockbuster competition. And just in this last episode, this brother has developed a social game, which was the only blemish in Keanu's game. But now we just got to see how consistent this social game can be. Because if he can put those 2 together and continue winning competitions on his way to the final 2 chairs, it's going to be hard to beat him. That being said, as much as I want to big brain it and say Keanu would win this season, I honestly think Vince got it. And it's mainly because of how the jury's set up. You got majority judges in there. And you got Lauren, who's his final 2 in there. That's more than enough votes for him to go ahead and win this game. All Keanu got is Kelly and maybe Ava, big maybe. But still, that's just not enough to win, unfortunately. And it kills me to say that. Y'all know I'm one of the biggest Keanu fans on this platform. It's like Vince's game all you want. He's played a great game throughout. Even when he's made bad decisions, he's found a way to get himself back on top to where it's not really impacting him in the next week. He's been able to survive multiple weeks of being on the block, saving himself by taking himself up off the block, joining alliances he had no business joining, and playing both sides of the house while doing it. Now, the only thing that could end up catching Vinny in the ass is if the judges end up turning on him when it comes to voting time, because he's essentially the reason why the judges imploded to begin with. Had he prioritized them in a White Locust challenge, they all could have very well made it to see the next episode. But because he didn't, the one really holding it together, Rachel, got sent home. That's a very big loss for this alliance. As we've seen, after Rachel left, Will and Ashley were both on the block. The alliance took a big hit after that, so I'm very curious to see how they will vote in a final 2 setting. I'm low-key hoping Keanu can get some of them votes, especially with how great he's been playing the game recently. Just knowing he was the bigger target throughout the season. He's made it as far as he has while having very flaky alliances throughout. Compensated his mid-social game with winning. He's managed to make it this far, and I just hope that gets acknowledged to some degree. Who do you have winning the season and why? Let me know in the comments.